So, thank you for taking the time to do this. I appreciate it. Now,
Um, Happy to do so.
now, let's start with the obvious question. How did you get into the Magic the Gathering scene? What is the origin story for you?
Well, I lived up in Seattle. I still do. And I knew Wizards of the Coast long before they did Magic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not interested in working for them because I didn't think they paid enough.
Oh, okay.
So one day in about, yeah, it would have been 93, my husband and I were down for the Worldcon in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going through the dealer's room. And we see that Wizards of the Coast has got an end cap booth with all the accoutrements, and that's not cheap.
No.
Um, so we looked at each other, and one of us, I forget who, said, "So, who mortgaged their house?" And we went over to see what they were doing, and they had all these zillions of little cards. I mean, they were scattered all over the table in like a pile,
Mm-hmm.
probably alphas. I'm sorry, I didn't grab a few.
Yikes, I know, right? Just let me
Yeah,
take a couple of these and then buy
yeah.
several houses with it.
But what I did do was I looked over them and I thought, I paint that well. I wonder if they're going to want to make more of these.
That's funny, in retrospect.
And so I talked to one of the women behind the booth and I said, "So, are you going to be making more?" And she said, "Yes, I think so." And I said, "Well, who do I need to talk to be considered as an artist?" And she gave me the art director's name. And I said, "And I don't suppose you could tell me a bit about what the contract is?" And she said, "Oh, it's $50 an illustration." And I thought, yes, you're still cheap. And um, you get royalties. And I said, not holding my breath on that one because really?
Right. The I guess that seems like an unheard of thing to happen,
Well,
right?
even if people promised you royalties, you rarely got them
Oh, okay. Okay.
because they would not go past what they paid you for the initial sum.
And this was common? Like this is something that happened to you often?
No, but I had friends who were writers and
I
they
see.
said, you know, it's a really good day when your contract earns out and you start
Okay.
getting royalties.
Gotcha.
So I kind of thought, yeah, yeah, tell me another. But then she said, and you get 50 of these little cards with your illustration on them. And at that point, I was interested. And the reason is that this was in 93. We didn't have good home scanners.
No.
There wasn't an internet. And I was getting jobs by sending out actual physical portfolios of my work. And for that, you wanted tear sheets or photographs, and tear sheets were hard to come by, and photographs were not any easier or cheaper.
Right, right.
Like a photograph could run me about $10.
Yeah.
And if I put 7 or 8 of those in a portfolio and send it off to someone, I really hoped that they would use the stamped self addressed envelope to send it back.
Yeah, but that probably never happened, I bet.
Oh, no, actually, they were really good about it at that
Oh,
time.
okay. Well, that's nice. I
But
wonder I wonder if that I mean things have changed now, right? Like probably not a good idea to send it out like that to just randomly to small companies.
um, I wouldn't do it that way now because pretty much everybody does everything over the internet.
Right. Yeah, I know.
And it's much easier and much cheaper. And it's much easier to store copies and all that kind of stuff. It just makes life a lot easier. So, anyway, I thought 50 of those little cards, I could send those out with my portfolios. That'd be great. You
Hmm.
know, $10 times 50, $500. So,
So that's what hooked you.
yeah, that was what hooked me. It wasn't the money, it wasn't the royalties, it was the 50 cards.
And so, how long did it take for you to realize when you were in the game that this game was bigger than what you realized and that you were becoming a, an artist of note? You were becoming part of that celebrity group of early magic artists.
Um, I'm really not quite sure. Because to a certain extent, that didn't happen till about 2017, I think,
Really?
or 16. Yeah. Because at first, you know, everybody was sort of, will you sign my cards, et cetera, et cetera. And here we've sent you some cards in the mail. Please send them back to us. And, you know, that was okay. And then I parted ways with Wizards over some disputes as to how they should be handling the contracts and stuff.
Right,
Eh,
right. which
And
which is
that would
not
have,
uncommon from what I've been told from other artists of your era. There were things that that was a not uncommon experience.
yeah, well, about 90, that was about 97. It was right before I got married.
Okay.
And about the same time, I decided that there was no point to signing cards by mail because it wasn't like I was getting royalties to, you know, it made no difference to me whether Watsy sold more cards or not.
Hmm.
And I just kind of, well, science fiction has a term for it, it's gaffiating, getting away from it all.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
And I gaffiated and I gaffiated pretty hard until about 2017. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. My husband and I both had cancer. He died of it. I made
I'm
it.
I'm sorry. I'm that's brutal.
Yeah, it was.
That's brutal.
And so, anyway, somehow or other, someone told me there was going to be a magic tournament and they were asking artists to sign at the magic tournament. No, scratch that. It would have been 2015 when we did the book,
Okay. Oh yes. Okay.
the Gathering book.
Right. Yes, which is a
And
great book, by the way. Anybody
thank you.
watching, check it out. It's really cool.
Yeah. Jeff Menges is responsible for that. He
Yes.
did a wonderful job.
Super duper good idea. I mean, just and to if and may I say, it just showing the growth of all of you as artists, because I feel like with the early magic artists, we really got a chance to watch you uh and your evolution grow. It's a very rare experience to see an artist grow artistically in the public eye so so visibly, because most of the time when an artist hits it big, they've already established their style. They already have in place what it is that makes them a celebrity. But with you and your tribe, you all went through this growth period, and after 20 years of doing the art, you guys are so much like you guys are like so much more impressive. I mean, not to say that your artwork wasn't good, but now you guys are crackerjack. Like, uh, do you think that I mean, how do you feel about that being something that happened to you as an artist?
Um, that I always kind of expected. at least as an artist. I'm an art historian. You follow a lot of artist careers when you're an art historian,
Hmm.
and you notice how they get better. And I just always assumed I would. Going back to your earlier question, so 2015, I kind of got a clue. And I did a couple of conventions at that point, a couple of comics conventions in Seattle. And then in 2017, like I said, I heard that they had a convention here, and I could go and sign things and people would pay me $1 for my signature. And I thought, okay, this sounds like I could use some money. So I'm not an early bird.
Most artists aren't, I've noticed.
Yeah. So I trundled in around 10 o'clock and I looked at where my table was. They had a little placard on it. And there was this huge line in front of it of people going, well, is she really coming?
Oh,
I
wow.
heard she was coming. Oh, it's her. And that was when I realized, oh God, I've become in my very own little way famous.
Yes, absolutely. I remember like back when I was, scoping interviews during COVID is when I started, and you were one of the people that I was interested in, and it was all I heard was, "Oh no, she's off the map. Don't even, don't even bother. She's just, she's MIA." And I thought, "Oh man, what a bummer." And then when I started seeing your name going around, I thought, "Awesome!" Like that's because it's so cool to see the evolution of the game, and I have such a great uh, interest in documenting what the experience is for artists of the time that you were working on the game. Because I mean, does it ever hit you that you are part of history? I mean, TCG history in the most like I think inarguably on the biggest game that's ever been in TCG, and your cards are worth money. I mean, that I must boggle the mind that they people pay the amount of money they do. I'd imagine Lion's Eye Diamond, when you painted that, could you have had any idea that?
No, none whatsoever. I was happy with it. I'd done a good job and a much better one than I thought I would be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very good about that because there are some cards I did that if they became horribly famous cards, I would never be seen again because I wouldn't want to sign them.
Oh no.
Um,
Well, like,
I'm
might I ask what cards are those that you have? Because I
no,
no.
no,
Okay.
no. I'll tell you what my 5 favorites are.
Well, yes, of course. Well, I do know, and for good reason, that I'm going to mispronounce this. Hyperion? Did I mispronounce
Yes,
that? Like, now I heard that a Harvard anthropologist contacted you,
paleontologist.
paleontologist contacted you and congratulated you on the accuracy of the painting.
Yeah,
Uh, how did that go? Did you just get a phone call or an email, or
just
what was
got an
it?
email.
And
I wrote them back and said thank you. I really appreciate that. I
like
went out
that's
and did my research.
and it that's and are you do seem very versed on animal, or at least listening to other interviews about you seem to know a lot about horses, and like you talked about animals and the origins of that. Are you somebody who goes really deep in the weeds of whatever animal it is that you're assigned?
Well, it sort of depends. Horses, I've I had a horse when I was a kid. My mom had horses when I was older. You know, there I've always been around. I don't know as much as a lot of people do about them. I mean, I have met people since then that I'm just kind of like, wow. But I know a whole lot about how they work, and I know things like the reins have to attach to the bit, and so does the headstall. And I know my favorite answer to, are you worried about AI? And I keep saying, not until it can draw a horse with 4 legs and the joints in the right places.
That's a good point. It's probably as hard to do that as it is to do hands, I'd imagine.
It it can be, you know, I mean, I don't think of it as being hard anymore. I've been doing it for 50 years at this point.
Well, let's say for those of us who are not professionally, well-renowned artists, maybe, I mean, because I always remember just trying to draw a horse and you get to the legs and you're like, nope, nope. It suddenly it becomes like a stiff kind of four-legged like thing,
Yeah.
like for those of us lay people, but for you, I'd imagine it's second nature at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And, working around horses or hanging around horses, you kind of get a feel for it.
Yeah, you get that. I mean, you can't really get any better than actually watching the animal in its motions and how it exists.
Yeah. And it was the sort of thing like when I was lunging my horse, which is when you work a horse on a long line. I had to pay attention as to how she was moving because if she wasn't moving right, maybe she was lame and I needed to call a vet, or maybe she had a stone in her hoof and I needed to get the hoof pick out,
Oh, I see.
or maybe she was just being a pain in the butt.
I see. Okay, so you have to be like, so you really have to be diligent, and then that just translated into the artwork because of the essential nature of the diligence.
Well, yeah, observation can be really important.
Now, with people, with the way that you draw, like your human paintings, there's an interesting look to each of them. As far as inspiration goes, what painters would you say um, would be what you would consider your artistic bloodlines? People who have really helped contribute to how you grew and understood art as you were coming up.
Well, excuse me, the big ones would be the artists in the very early part of the 20th century. Printing got a whole lot better right about that time. And they printed a lot of very, very beautiful books with watercolors or paintings by artists. And unlike a lot of the fantasy artists, I don't descend from the NC Wyeth. I can't think of the other guy. I don't descend from that line. I descend from one that was more centered around London
Mm.
and included people like Kai Nielsen. That's the big name for me. Um, and Dulac, um, Arthur Rackham, and Harry Clark.
If there was one piece that you could own, regardless of if money was not an option of those artists, like maybe if you could pick a singular piece, which one would it be? Like,
Oh, Nielsen's illustration from East of the Sun, West of the Moon of the Seven Princes riding down the mountain. That was the first work of his that I saw and remembered.
oh, do you
And
remember how old you were when you saw it?
oh, yeah, I was about 15.
Okay, yeah, very, very good time to absorb it.
And I just sort of saw that and just kind of went, oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And since then, I've gone to a certain amount of trouble to see more of his work in the original when I can. A Boston Museum of Fine Arts had an exhibit a couple of years back that I went to. It even had ones I didn't know about.
Oh, that must have been a treat.
Oh, it was. It was. And the couple that owns them are going to donate them to the MFA, so
Oh,
they
that's
will be
wonderful.
preserved.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
You gotta appreciate people who understand that art really is for the masses. Like that's truly a a human thing, a
Yeah.
humanistic thing to do.
But another thing I did was one of his last paintings, it may be his last painting, or at least his last large known commission, is in Walla Walla, Washington.
Really,
Yeah,
one of the best names ever of a place, by the way.
yeah. It's in a college there. And my husband and I had to go do some other things in Eastern Washington. And we decided we'd take a swing through Walla Walla and see the mural. And it was quite large, which was not what I expected. Well, I mean, I knew it was large, but it was kind of different seeing it. And there were things in it that I still liked about his work, but it wasn't from his heyday in London.
Gotcha.
When World War II happened, he and his wife came over here. I think he ended up working at Disney for a little bit. He did part of the Night on Bald Mountain
Oh,
sequence from
wow.
Fantasia. And he's listed as one of the concept artists for Little Mermaid.
Really?
Yeah, now he died about the same time I was born.
Oh, dang.
So that was, evidently Disney keeps their stuff around.
I mean, that says a lot. I mean, to be working on those particular pieces of art, which both of them independently are some of the most important animated films of all time. I mean, I
Yeah.
think for me personally, Little Mermaid is my personal favorite of Disney's. Like that one made me go crazy as a kid. I couldn't believe
Oh,
how beautiful it was. But I did always love Night at Bald Mountain because, I mean, like, how can you not? Like, it's
yeah.
just fantastic.
Yeah. So those were some of my very favorites. I studied um, Northern Italian Renaissance art as an art historian, and that does come through.
Yes, it does.
And Northern European Renaissance art, um, Persian and Indian miniatures.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I noticed that you always you have a penchant for, and it's very astonishing for me because just knowing the difficulty of painting something like that, your ability to sort of draw these squares, these glass and geometric designs in the backgrounds of your pieces in these different colors. Some of them look like checkerboard, some of them look like stained glass, but that there is always in a lot of your magic pieces specifically,
Mm.
there's a lot of that going on. Like say even for instance in Lion's Eye Diamond, you have all those geometrics. Where did that come from? Was that just a natural inclination, or was that something that you picked up?
Well, I think I picked it up because my mom was a quilt maker.
That
And I loved the patterns, but I could not quilt worth beans. Fabric is not my friend.
I
But
I get it.
things like rulers and triangles and other devices of drawing things are my friends. And I can lay out a grid really fast.
Yeah, I mean it's very impressive. The also the choice of color that you use, like for Martyrs of Corliss, it's such an interesting opposition of how I mean how you chose purple and red to match the two men who are of completely different color palettes, and it just pops. It's a very interesting thing for as me as a viewer to see and try to reverse engineer. And I'm sure that probably is something that you understand fundamentally, as an artist. But how
Well,
it has to be something though that you you have to have an inclination for it uh at some point.
Malice aforethought.
Pardon me.
I said it was with malice aforethought.
And what do you mean by that, malice of forethought?
Well, I often see the color palette before I see anything else about a painting
Wow.
because it will it will it just sort of says to me, this is what you need to have here. This is what you need to have to make it pop, which is a big thing doing cards of any type because they're so small, you have to make the image pop.
Yes,
You
yes.
can't be subtle about it.
And that's a challenge, I would imagine.
Well, I use a lot of like Lion's Eye Diamond is sort of golds and purples, and
Mhm.
those are directly opposite each other on the color wheel.
Yes, yes.
And red and blue are not so opposite each other on the color wheel, but they're not next to each other. So that helped it to pop.
Interesting. Now, as far as your other favorites, we might as well go into them. We got the one. I knew the one was Hyperion, but what are the other top choices of yours that you would pick?
Well, obviously, I like Lion's Eye Diamond,
I mean, how
for
can you?
which I feel very thankful.
I, I was gonna say, can you? I that 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 must be something else to know that a painting of yours and even just reproductions of yours are going for the costs um of people that are in, I mean, like, you are now one of the like 1% of artists that has paintings that could go for, six figures. Like, that's got to be surreal to know that you're in that like club.
It is. It is. Um, I was actually quite pleased this last year when most of my new originals went for four figures.
Which,
The Lion's Eye Diamond goes. It's just a weird outlier as far as I can tell.
but weird outlier or not, it's still, that's, I mean, it is the truth. But four figures is absolutely nothing to sneeze at. I mean, frankly, I think anybody who has the ability to make money from art, especially in this day and age, that is a an accomplishment. But for somebody to really make a living from it the way you do is is it's inspirational, and it is aspirational, and it is something that I think a lot of young artists need to know about for them to keep up hope. When you think about like younger artists, what would be some things that you would recommend to them, having learned what you've learned as somebody who's been working for 30 plus years?
Don't get into debt.
That's good.
Um, do remember that you need to be spending time in your chair working on your painting. And that's every day. Just go down, you know, or go wherever your studio is. Mine's downstairs. Um, and put in some time. The artists I know who make it do that.
Yeah, it's sort of that 10,000 hours idea, right? Of, if you're going to
Yeah,
master something, you got to put in the time to truly master it.
yeah. Um, at the same time, no, don't neglect the business aspects. Um,
which I think is a very difficult thing for a lot of artists because I've noticed there are very few artists who are naturally um, savvy business people. It doesn't seem that artists are maybe the most like I would say inclined to be business savvy. And you seem like somebody who was very savvy right from the get-go. Um, was that because you were an art historian, or is that because you had just a knack for it early? Um, it seems like you knew your worth at a time that you know most
well,
people
I
wouldn't.
had a better idea, but not really a good one. Um, at science fiction conventions, there used to be a panel that went around in business of art, where it would advise you to do things like, for heaven's sakes, get business cards.
Yeah.
You know, it was amazing how many people would not leave business cards with their art at shows. And then people who wanted to buy something from them couldn't get a hold of them.
Oh wow.
Um, Now, of course, I would say you have to have a website, you have to have email, you need to be present on at least some social media, although I'm getting along quite fine with about one and not worrying about the rest of it.
Yes, yes, I get it.
But you need some way for people to find you. Um, Another thing is that talk to other artists because they will have come across things like pirate shipping, which is a
Which is
website that I really don't am not sure how it works, but I think it buys postage in large amounts and then resells it at prices that are better than you can get on your own.
huh,
So I use it for all my packages. I've had no problems with it.
interesting.
Um, it features UPS and USPS right now, so anything in the US is just fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, what other things are? For a long time, I maintained a mailbox because I did not. Well, one is I lived in apartments and I was shipping large boxes to and from places, and I did not want them to be left in the apartment lobby.
Right on. Yeah, I get that.
And it turned out to be useful in a number of ways. Um, Unlike some of the artists I know, I didn't have strange people turn up on my doorstep.
Oh dear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh dear. That
Yeah.
seems like a recipe for danger.
Yeah. I handle that. I quit having the mailbox about 4 or 5 years ago. I handle it in a different way now, but you'll excuse me for not explaining exactly.
That's fine by me. I mean, you gotta, the secret's in the sauce for whatever reason you need it to be. I'm not here to give anybody any ideas.
Yeah, I don't want to either. but I but that was very useful for me for a very long time. I didn't have to be anywhere particular to take deliveries because they would take the deliveries for me.
hmm Which is smart because especially in the card game line of work, you're probably going to be hitting the road more often than not. Doing
Yeah.
conventions and signings and all that jazz.
Yeah, that wasn't always true, but it's certainly been true about the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, ever since COVID quit.
Yeah, I mean, I think COVID really made people miss those conventions in a way that uh, I think is almost generationally traumatic. We all really wanted to be around a lot of people that were of the same mindset after being locked up, and especially I would imagine, especially after what you went through, that's I mean, I mean, unimaginable. So do you like it? Do you find yourself like enjoying the convention experiences?
Oh, yeah. I just signed up for six for 2026.
Wow, that there you go. Who and do you feel like a little bit like you're kind of like sort of like on tour? Do you ever like think in
Oh,
your head,
yeah. October, for instance, was really the on tour month for me this year.
how many did you hit in October?
I hit six events in October.
Wow. And you know what? That's good for you. I mean, to be a a cancer survivor and to be like moving around like that, like and not only that, but slaying it at it, as far as career goes, that's pretty fierce. That's not a lot of people can
Well,
claim that.
I was very lucky. My cancer was not, it was kind of stupid, slow cancer.
Yeah, well, yeah, I get it, but I still think that what what the gist of what I guess what I meant was is
Eh.
that for you to be just doing so well at, after and especially after having lost your husband as well, it's a good thing to see because I know that I've talked to a lot of other artists that they can say that being an artist is an isolating thing to begin with, and so it's cool to see that you're out amongst the people, and I'm sure the celebrity treatment isn't too shabby.
Mm, yeah, that's fun. As I told a friend the other day, I have a tagline now that, I'm in my 60s and um, if I go over and look at a magic game, people assume like I'm their mother or their grandmother. And they're very cheerfully going to explain it all to me. And I kind of cut that off by saying, Margaret Organ-Kean painted Lion's Eye Diamond.
And they're like,
Yeah, it's usually good for watching heads explode.
I would imagine that's a jaw dropper.
Yeah. And I kind of feel bad about doing it, but what if they find out later? It would be worse.
I mean, like you gotta. I mean, like you gotta do it. I mean, like you said, just to see the expressions. I mean, that's just entertainment.
Well, the expressions are fun, but the real reason I do it is because let's not go further within this. I was painting cards before you were born.
Right, right. Getting some 20-year-old telling you how the game works, you're like, no, you don't understand. Like, I know more than you possibly ever could about how the game works. Like,
Oh, no, no, because I don't play anymore. I haven't played since about 96 or
I
Ice
mean,
Age, I think.
well, I mean, that's nothing to be. That's nothing too bad to be ashamed of. I know actually many artists who've never played at all. Like
Oh,
it seems some love it, some are magic crazy, some have never even played it. They're like, I don't know how. I never have learned. But I would imagine back when you were doing it, the scene was not as absolutely wild as it is now. That you,
no, it was a lot easier to track the rules.
yeah, right. Oh my goodness.
And there
Like,
weren't 5,000 cards to take into account.
yeah. I mean,
And
I think now it's like the count is something around 50,000, which is mind boggling. I mean, like,
oh,
mind.
yeah, that is.
And, probably when you had started, it was like maybe 1,000 total, maybe.
Yeah, it was certainly easier to track. And I could make up pretty good decks without like having to go, you didn't have to go into debt to make up a really good deck.
Yeah, right.
I
Which
used to have one that was a black and white flying deck, which was
oh,
usually good for whacking people.
uh,
And I had another one that I called my color change deck, which would change the colors of things, including your cards.
ooh, that's trickery.
So, I'd change my cards and then I'd change your cards. And then there you'd be,
Just dead in the water, just
yeah.
quickly. So you're a feisty player, it sounds like.
I was good enough. Um, I used to make people sign amulets of Krug for me. I still have a few of those around.
Wow.
You
That's
lose, you sign my amulet of Krug.
oh wow, that's amazing. Like so then it's sort of like a like a documentation of I lost to Margaret.
Yeah. Of course, if you won, then I would sign an amulet of Krug for you.
Not a bad deal at
Yeah.
all. I mean, if I had an amulet of Krug, I would totally be thrilled. I mean, but it's it is like at this point in time now, it's very hard to get the a lot of the cards. I'd imagine some of them had to have been reprinted in the mystery boosters, right? Or when's the last time that you've had a reprint done?
I am not sure. I think I'm, like I say, I'm not sure. I think that there was a set called something like Time Twister or something that like that,
Mhm. Yeah.
and Sacred Mesa got reprinted in that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm checking through. It looks yeah, Masters Edition. Let's see here. But yeah. Well, I mean, and Amulet of Krug got reprinted quite a few times, but
Oh yeah,
mhm. And then like of course Lion's Eye Diamond will never ever see the say
yeah,
like right now it's just looking at it, it's I think a super used copy of Lion's Eye is half a grand. That's great.
yeah. I
And
know because I buy one every now and then to alter it.
you like really how wait how does that work? I mean, you buy it to alter it
Yeah,
or
I buy it to alter it and then I sell it after it's altered.
oh, I see. Okay. That makes sense. Oh, it looks like I found one. Zebra Unicorn was reprinted as in yep, it was reprinted in what they call the list, which is a mystery booster, which it is identical to the original card,
Uh-huh.
but it has a tiny planeswalker symbol. So yeah, you made it into the mystery booster. So maybe I'll find one in there.
Yeah. Um Actually, next month I know that they're going to print one.
Oh, okay, but probably not allowed to say which, right?
Can't. Well, no, actually, I can. It's going to be in Llorwyn's Eclipse.
Oh,
It's called
really?
Zizki's Command, and it's what I haven't done in a generation. It's a new card for Magic.
Oh, fantastic. That's what I was going to ask about. Oh, wow. So, um, what, okay, can you tell the story about that? I mean, as far as,
I A couple of years back, I ran into one of the art directors at one of the Magic Con shows and allowed as how it was sorcery had gotten hold of me and got me to do some cards for them. And I remembered how much I enjoyed doing it.
uh-huh.
And I talked to some of my friends I knew who were doing cards for Wizards, and they said, they've kind of solved some of their problems.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, I allowed to this art director as to how I might be interested, and he gave me some names to contact, and I contacted them with copies of my current work. And they got back to me and said, would you be interested in doing this card and that card and this card and that card? Well, actually, I can say it, I've done a total of 5 for them now.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what I wanted have wanted to see. I love a good comeback. Like I love it with like it's sort of to me, it's sort of like the survivor coming back to the sequel kind of
Yeah.
situation. It's also a way to really pay respects to the the origins of the game, which needs to be done. I mean, it's it's I think it's what's due to you as a, not just like as an artist, but like just in general. And then I had to, somebody, I was told by, I wanted to tell you that one of my friends who is probably the biggest TCG YouTuber in Brazil, or I mean, like he's huge. His name is Elba. Hi, Elba. He wanted to let you know that Finwife is such a like is such a favorite in Brazil that he knows at least three people that got into the game for no other reason than they loved the artwork of that card,
Oh,
and just
wow.
decided this is it. I'm in for it, because apparently in Brazil they don't have any of that kind of folklore that involves fish like
Yeah.
people, and it was such a like mind blowing concept to them that they were like, well, I got to get into this game. So your artwork alone is inspiring people to play the game, which
Well,
not,
that's what it's supposed to do.
that is indeed what it's supposed to do. But what's I think just cool about it is that like you're still doing it after all these years. And uh you know you know let's see, now it's been what, four generations of players that have been exposed to your work.
Well, 30 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seems like
I
it.
mean, I get people coming up with their kids who say things to me like, you were part of my childhood.
Most definitely.
And I'm not going to feel old until they start coming up with their grandkids.
Oh, but I mean, but that's also, again, that's pretty cool, like to be able to like look at like all these generations and be like, everybody has these formative experiences to you, and it really does make a difference to the players, because especially the people who respond to the art, because it really does become part of your like your inner space, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like you almost feel a sense of ownership of the artwork in a way that it's as though it's your own. Like you develop a relationship with it that is very personal, and and it's cool to see that. I wonder though, I didn't get through for your favorite magics, but I also am curious of your favorite sorcery cards too, because they're your more modern pieces, and I think that the growth that you've shown as an artist is just extraordinary. They're so bewitching, and um they're so cut out
Okay.
of a fairy tale.
Um, I like Cornerstone a great deal. It kind of takes off from a lot of other things, but I just really like how it works as a card.
Hmm.
Um, I like Finwife. I'm like everyone else. I like Finwife.
It's
It
really
was
cool.
it was extremely easy to paint. Some of my cards I just sort of feel like I slogged through them, but Finwife was not that way.
Why was that? Why do you think that one was easier than say others?
I had it right from the beginning.
Oh, I got you. Okay. You just hit it out of the park, and it was
Yeah, I had it right. I knew it was right. I didn't have to worry about it. It was going to be good. Um, I felt the same way, interestingly enough, about Lion's Eye Diamond. If I had to pick a third card that I really like, I like the Blue Knight from Arthurian Legends.
okay.
That's that's a very typical painting for me, but I did a good job on it.
Hmm.
Oh, and the one that just came out as a singleton, I thought that was a really good piece.
Now, I mean, I think personally, if I had picked one that I would hang, if and I'm sure the painting is in somebody's collection already, and it's out of my price range, but I do really love Martyrs of Corliss. I think it's just a very I don't know, it's a fascinating painting. I think it's very sensual. I think it's very um the symbolism behind it is to me, there's a lot to be read into it. And again, the way you chose the colors and the opposing, men, it's just I love it. I think it's just something else.
Well, when I got the title on that, it was originally Monks of Corliss.
Oh wow.
And I thought about it a bit and I thought, God, I don't want to draw a bunch of Franciscans trotting through the landscape.
Yeah, it kind of
And
dulls.
then I thought, but there are monks like Knights Templar and the Hospitallers of St. John's, the warrior monks. Let's do some warrior monks.
I'm glad that you chose that because it's frankly I mean it's it makes for a more interesting thing. I mean, like, it's it's got that dramatic, it's got the
Yeah.
drama and the sexiness. So, you know, win-win.
Yeah. So I was pretty pleased with that one.
And I also do think I mean, obviously, one of your more well-known one is Autumn Willow, which
Oh
is
yeah.
just beautiful. Just straight up beautiful. And I know that it was based. It's part of the reserve list, but it's based off of who was it? Kai.
Kaya Folio.
And do you was it just did you have her pose or was it a photograph or
I had her pose for me and took photographs that I used to create the painting.
do you still have those photographs around somewhere?
Some of them, I've got a copy of one of them, which is all marked up.
Oh, I still would love to see it just for context. It's just the behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting to do. It's kind of get the proportions right. It's all gridded out so that I do that sometimes when I want to get proportions exactly right. I grid
Mhm.
out the whole thing and then I go to.
I see.
So yeah, I think I still have copies of that around, but I won't swear to it.
That's I mean, it's really just it's an interesting thing, I think, to see. I'm always fascinated with the behind the scenes ones. So I guess if I could ask, and I won't be keeping you much longer,
Yeah.
but which piece would you say was the most difficult to get through? Because you talked about ones that you've slogged. So which piece, and it could be from any of the games or pieces that you've worked on, was the hardest to get through that, but you ended up happy with the results?
That's kind of a hard question because usually if I'm slogging, that means I'm not doing well on the painting, or I don't
Oh,
think I
really?
am.
Okay. Well, so maybe objectively you don't think so, but I'm sure that might be your artist eye being a little harsher than maybe.
I would have to say I would have to say it was Cornerstone.
Interesting. Okay.
I did a lot of work behind Cornerstone that you don't see. I
Mm.
created a model in 3D
Oh.
because perspective is not my strong suite. Um, and I wanted the cornerstone aspect of it to be in correct perspective. That was important to me for that piece.
Gotcha.
Um, I swear to God, I decided the colors by what will really look outrageously weird next to this color. Hey, I haven't used pink yet.
Hey, I mean, why not? I mean, like, if that's, if that's what it takes. I mean, I've heard weirder stuff, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say the one that was most difficult for me in terms of dealing with the painting itself that still came out well would have had to have been Cornerstone.
Interesting.
It
Interesting.
was, I knew what I wanted, but my ability, it was just at the edge of my abilities at that time.
Well, I'm glad that you slogged through it, but and if it's any consolation, the slog is lost on the viewer on our end. So
Yeah.
the I guess that's the private suffering of the artist is that what goes into the making of it can never be known to the audience, and I guess that's sort of the lay of
Oh,
the land.
Foxfire was another one I slogged on. I actually did that one twice.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
There was one I did and I wasn't very happy with it. I mean, it was much the same, but I just felt it wasn't tight and bright enough. And I had time to do it over again, so I did.
It's got a very fairy tale like a very uh like it's almost like the it would be like the frame of a book, like of a
Yeah.
fairy tale book of where you could imagine the story starting. There is a great uh sort of like playing with the cow jumping over the moon kind of thing, but you got the
Yeah.
jumping over the moon.
Yeah. So that would have been one I would have to say I had a hard time with that one because like I said, the first one I did, it was more a sketch than anything else the way things turned out because when I did the final, like I said, it was much the same. It was just I corrected the mistakes
Mm-hmm.
or what I viewed as the mistakes. Now I'm told by other people that I was being overly harsh, but I don't
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, maybe. Well, that would be my take. But again, having interviewed a lot of artists, it is not an uncommon thing to hear people uh who I consider to be incredibly talented just rip to themselves to shreds, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't argue that that's your experience. Also, by the way, Spectral Shield is really cool just because it really does look like a photo that's negative, like a negative of a photo. Like,
That's what I that's what I used reference for.
but but to actually make it, to actually do it in, I guess, is that watercolor that you use?
Yeah. Yeah.
That that's mind blowing because that can't be easy to imitate because it goes opposite against everything that you've been trained, right? Like
It felt very backwards to me.
it's very psychedelic too, with the color.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely could be in a Jefferson Airplane, kind of video. Like I could see it's almost like a gray slick kind of vibe.
Yeah. Well, it was one of my coworkers' kids,
Really?
who I gather has grown up to play magic on occasion. Every now and then I sign cards for people she's played with.
Oh, that's so cool.
And they say, "Is it really true that she's?" And I say, "Yes, it's really absolutely true."
Oh wow, to be immortalized. That's groovy.
Yeah. She was actually posing at the company Christmas party against the huge glass wall we had looking into our computer room.
Oh,
And because I was the systems administrator, I could stand on the other side of it with my camera and take photos of her, which is why her face looks kind of smashed. I told her,
right.
smash her face up against the wall because the idea is we have this invisible shield
Oh, that's cool.
that you can't get through.
Oh my gosh, what a story. Like that's amazing because she's got that to tell, like, like that's gonna be a myth in her family, for
Yeah.
every generation they'll be like, hey, that's great grandmother on a card, like, and so that's I mean that's significant. Well, before I let you go, I just wanted to know if is there anything that you want to plug that you got coming up? I mean, anything as far as your uh touring schedule that you want to shout out, or anything along those lines that you want to make people aware of as far as what you have going on that might be of interest to the art
Yeah.
purchasing
Um,
world?
my SGC schedule I have just got it this morning. And the only two I can remember are January and February. In January, I will be in Portland. And in February, I will be in Milwaukee.
All right. And
Now, I don't remember exactly when the other ones are. I am scheduled for Baltimore and DC and one more. I am not sure where. I can't remember.
and the best place to find you on the interweb, we'll put it in the show notes, but
Facebook.
Facebook it is. Well, I
Yeah.
will be sure to link your Facebook in there. And just once again, thank you so much for your time. And it's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you too.